Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Kingdom Hearts 2 playthrough. And
hey, are you all right?
The end game is beginning right now.
We came here looking for Kairi. Then those white things attacked us.
You gotta be careful.
Yeah, you guys didn't have to go and do that.
Of course we did. Kairi's our friend too, you know.
You're right. You know, I never thought of it like that before.
Word is, this mansion gets a lot of really strange visitors.
We thought this place might be the gateway to some kind of alternate Twilight Town.
What do you mean, alternate Twilight Town?
Hey, Goofy, do you think we could see that crystal of yours?
I made that pouch myself, and I still have it. So there shouldn't be two of them here.
And this is the trophy Cypher gave you. You left it behind, remember?
It's the only one of its kind. Same for the crystals. Red, blue, yellow, green. Only one of each color. But you've got your own.
So, where'd you get it?
The pouch is from the king. When he gave us money for the train ride, he gave us the crystal too.
But then, where did the king get it?
See? There's gotta be another town out there like this one. That would explain how the king got that pouch and the crystal. Everything makes sense.
It does?
That other town must be where whatever's missing from here went.
Like Kairi.
I get it.
Believe your logic may be a little bit flawed, guys, but oh well.
Watch out!
It's time for a battle! And I have to... The logic that they're using there is really heavily flawed. Because, I mean, why on earth would your first assumption be, through that mansion there is an alternate Twilight Town? Like, I'm not quite sure where the pieces are that allow you to think that that is what's happening. Especially considering none of the characters have ever shown any sort of inkling that alternate dimensions can exist. In fact, I'm pretty sure that up until Sora appeared, Hina, Pence and Olette and stuff didn't know that there were other worlds out there. So... But oh well, I mean, to be honest, it's kind of a thing of Kingdom Hearts in general. Story, as important as it is to the entire series, and just the general makeup of the games, story doesn't matter at all. I think there's a clip. Well, there's a cutscene in
I got something to tell you. I found out
Chain of Memories, which is basically like, I don't understand what's going on, and then Sora says, it doesn't matter, let's just go. It's basically how you have to deal with the Kingdom Hearts story.
I'm pretty sure we're right.
But why'd you all come here?
Someone gave us a clue.
Who?
Well, your majesty, Sora thinks it might have been Riku.
It's just a feeling I had.
Well, if that's what you think, then it's probably right.
You mean Riku's okay?
If that's what you think,
I've waited long enough, your majesty. Tell me what you know.
it's not for me to say.
But your majesty, why?
I don't want to break my promise.
You made a promise to Riku? So he's okay. I can see him again.
Huh? Who's Riku?
My best friend.
That's it.
Your Majesty? You got the pouch with the crystal from Riku, didn't you? And you promised not to tell, right?
Gosh, guys.
That's enough!
Yeah, let's go. Kairi, Riku, we're on our way.
How does that make sense of everything? Considering they didn't know who Riku was until Sora just explained it. What? I love you, Kingdom Hearts, and I love your insane story, but just... thinking about it now, this logic just does not work. Like, I can deal with the whole soul and, well, heart being the soul, and the body and them being separate entities, and all that sort of stuff. But these couple of leaps in logic I'm not feeling. And I've never noticed it before in my entire life of knowing the Kingdom Hearts story. I mean, I would assume that at this point they just thought we just need to get the story moving along. We need to get into the final world and wrap this stuff up good. But yeah, it's really bad writing. And, well, generally, I would say that Kingdom Hearts is written well, in the sense of most of the time the stuff that the characters say sounds reasonable. And the acting is good enough to generally carry it, even when it's slightly bonkers. And there's a little side tangent. I think that's something that a heck of a lot of people get wrong when they're dealing with things. Also, we're in Nominee's room, and you can actually have a little look at all of the painting, well, all of her little drawings close up. I believe I'm going to do a little run around the room, and you can see what things are. It's really quite cool. But yeah, like, frequently a lot of people say certain things, like the acting's awful, or the writing is awful. Okay, I'm not going to show it. Oh well. When in reality, it's not the case. It's like, a lot of people say that the writing and acting's awful in Bayonetta. No, I'm returning to Bayonetta as an example, as I tend to do, but it's a good example. However, what people call bad is it's hammy acting, which is perfectly alright not to like, because it's hammy, it's cheesy, and you may not like that. But to say that it's bad is just incorrect. In terms of some of the writing, with Bayonetta, some of the lines are a little bit But on the whole, even with its convolutedness, it's not bad writing. It's just, it's complicated. And not quite what you're expecting, or what you're used to. No, bad writing is something along the lines of Arnold Schwarzenegger's Jingle All the Way. That's bad writing. Because the lines are just sound ridiculous. And there is literally no way in which you can make them sound good. And most of the acting is also not great, because you're trying to say bad lines. It's also the same with, like, Tommy Wiseau's The Room. Like, the script to begin with is awful because the lines don't make sense, they sound really weird coming out of a human mouth. And partly because of that, any acting attempts with it just don't work. So, I mean, frequently, bad acting and bad writing go hand in hand, because one necessarily kind of affects the other. But I'd say, in general, Kingdom Hearts does a pretty damn good job. In fact, they do have some problems with voice direction, which I have pointed out before. And I think whoever was the voice director for Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance particularly didn't do a grand job, because half the stuff that Sora says just doesn't sound right. And I think it's because they tried to get Haley Joel Osment to change his Sora voice slightly, so it just comes off as really weird. But just because it's weird, it doesn't mean it's bad. And I think that's a distinction that a lot of people need to get, because it then makes things that are actually decent, it places them in the same category as things that don't even deserve to be compared to it. So it's an important distinction, I feel.
Okay. Here we go. Oh,
What's wrong?
I can't go any further without a password.
Do you have any idea what the password might be?
Well, we only got this photo.
Yeah, the one Donald ate up.
It was in the box right next to the photo.
Hey, that's it. Ansem the Wise loved ice cream.
Okay, what's the name of the flavor?
You know what I was saying about Kingdom Hearts having reasonably decent writing? Well, not the best of examples, that one, I have to say. Ansem the Wise loved ice cream. Okay, what's the name of the flavour? It don't sound quite right in this setting, if I'm honest. But, oh well. Now, basically, before you give Pence the password, do just try and get these chests, because you don't really want to have to come back here again, so just do it now. Also, free experience. Just make use of it, because it'll help a lot. Because the batch of bosses that are coming up are challenging. And trust me, you really, really do want to try and be as high in the levels as possible, because stuff is gonna get hard. Epic, but hard. Also, I believe that from this point until the end of the game, we pretty much exclusively have nobodies to face. There will be a period where, you know, we don't have... Well, when we just nip out of the world that never was where we're going to, in order to do some final little bits and bobs. At that point, we will, you know, see Heartless again, but pretty much, in terms of the main story, from this point until the end of the game, it's nobody's all the way through. Apart from the opening area of where we're about to go to. Almost forgot about that bit. You see, this is what happens when you record footage a very, very, very long time in advance. Because then you absolutely just lose track of what you're talking about. Which never, ever, ever helps. Sky sugar and liver pepper. What sort of ice cream flavours are they?
Let's go.
Like, I mean, liver pepper in particular just sounds awful.
Say
Oh,
hi to Kyrie.
You bet.
hold the fort. Hina, hold it, not hold down the fort. Bloody Americanisms. Ruining perfectly good idioms and phrases and just making them not make sense. For example, it's couldn't care less, not could care less. And it's hold the fort, not hold down the fort. Make sure to listen to David Mitchell's soapbox video on that, because it covers everything perfectly.
There's gotta be an entrance into the Dark Realm somewhere. Let's split up.
And now we basically just have to head into the basement hall, I think? Yep. And if you remember from way back when we were here as Roxas, there's this really interesting little portal thing going on. That's our way to the world that never was.
This is it.
So, make sure you've got everything that you want to have. I think I'm toying with the idea of going into a form before going in, because I think we were gonna go straight into cutscene, I think. But then I decided against it, because it was like, no, there's no point in wasting it. I might as well just keep myself fine, and we'll live.
What is this place?
Well, which way should we go?
Riku,
Straight onwards. It's kind of your only option. You do realise that, don't you? And so it's time to get on with some fighting. And I have to say, this particular fight, it lasts a while. It has a couple of parts to it, but it's one of my favourite parts in the game. And I'm pretty sure that it is one of other people's favourite parts as well, because of precisely what's about to happen as soon as we've fended off this first wave of enemies.
It's no use.
Don't stop moving, or the darkness will overtake you. Get going!
Why?
Don't ask, just do it!
You okay?
I kidnapped Kairi, but she got away from me. After that, Saïx caught her. He's a member of Organization 13. Saïx. Got it memorized? Now go save her!
Leave us alone!
And so, we get to fight alongside Axel, which is just absolutely glorious. And I have to say, like, Axel doesn't turn up a whole lot in Kingdom Hearts 2. He's much more of a prevalent presence in Chain of Memories, I think. But I really do like the fact that because he got so popular in this game, I don't know why, because he doesn't turn up that much, Nomura decided to keep him in as part of the story of Kingdom Hearts, and to make him more important. And I'm really glad, because Axel's such a cool character. And also, I mean, he's voiced by Quentin Flynn, so major reason to think he's awesome. But also, just the cutscene that we're about to go into after this battle is wonderful. And while I have pointed out that Kingdom Hearts is awful at achieving the same level of drama and emotional resonance as the Disney films in the worlds where it's trying to present the story of it. It does have moments where it's phenomenally good at emotions and developing a mature kind of dramatic moment, which therefore makes it even more frustrating that the Disney stuff isn't as good as it could be. Because when this game is doing its best to create a good story, it does it brilliantly. It's just when it can't do that it just gets disappointing. But either way, we have this really amazing cutscene, and I love it to pieces. It's heartbreaking, but it's just phenomenal.
I can handle these punks. Watch this.
Whoa! You're fading away.
Well, that's what happens when you put your whole being into an attack. You know what I mean? Not that nobodies actually have beings, right? Anyway, I digress. Go. Find Kairi. Oh, almost forgot. Sorry for what I did to her.
When we find her, you can tell her that yourself.
Think I'll pass. My heart just wouldn't be in it, you know? Haven't got one.
Axel, what were you trying to do?
I wanted to see Roxas. He was the only one I liked. He made me feel like I had a heart. It's kind of funny. You make me feel the same. Kairi's in the castle dungeon. Now go!
Axel. This leads to...
Come on, let's get going.